Hi, and welcome to session number 9. We're now in the book of Exodus, the third section. Just to review, we said the first 4 parshas, the Jews are in the land of Egypt. And parshas 5 and 6, that's when we get the Torah. And now 7 all the way down to 11, we're going to focus on the Tabernacle. The Tabernacle is a portable sanctuary the Jews are going to be commanded to build in the desert. God is going to give over to Moses the instructions on how to build it, and that's what we're going to focus on now through these 5 parshas. Now, in terms of the organization of these parshas, this is the basic way we're going to keep it clear in our heads. Parshas 7 and 8 go together. Parshas 10 and 11 go together. And parsha number 9 stands out on its own. We're actually going to cover that, what happened in parsha number 9, in the next video. Okay, back to parsha 7. It deals with the instructions that Moses gets on how to build this tabernacle and the vessels used within it. So here the Jews are in the desert. The tabernacle is this sanctuary that the Jews are going to build. It's going to have skins and coverings. It's going to have a courtyard area that we see here. There's going to be an altar on the outside. And then there's this enclosed area. And within that area, we have vessels besides the sacrificial altar. So I want to talk to you and let's focus on this section, what actually happens inside here. So let's imagine for a moment, this is the layout, an aerial view. And if you're walking in from this side over here into the first section, you would have 3 vessels. The first thing you would confront is an incense altar. And then over here to the left, you have the menorah. Now, you'll just note the menorah, this candelabra, is 6-stemmed. That's the way it was in the tabernacle, also in the temple of Jerusalem. We're familiar with the Hanukkah menorah, which has 8 stems. And that's because there was a miracle that happened when the Jews were rededicating the temple after the assault by the Greeks on Jerusalem and on the Jewish people spiritually. So they reclaimed it, and there was an 8-day miracle. But the menorah within the tabernacle was actually just 7 stems. And then over here to the right, we have the table. This table is where breads were actually kept. Here we go. There are 12 breads put on this table, and they would stay there through the week. And then every Sabbath, the priests that work within this tabernacle would actually replace the breads and put new breads on there. So this is within what's called a sanctuary area. A daily service would happen. Then on the Inner Sanctum, which is known as the Holy of Holies, in this enclosed area, there was the ark. This ark, this golden ark, was actually 3 boxes, a gold box, and then you had a wooden box, and then you had an inner gold box again. And it contained the tablets that Moses brought down from Sinai. Now, we're going to cover this in the next video. There's going to be 2 sets of tablets, a whole set and a smashed set of tablets. And there are going to be other things kept in this as well, and we'll get to that as we go through different sections of the Torah. But this is the Inner Sanctum. We're going to learn that actually in this area of the tabernacle and in the future the temple of Jerusalem, the high priest who works within the temple can only enter this section once a year, and that'd be on the holiday of Yom Kippur, the Day of Atonement, and there was a special service which was conducted in this Inner Sanctum. So that's the tabernacle, and that's what's covered in parsha number 7. Here Moses is getting the instructions on how to build the tabernacle and the vessels. In parsha 8, the focus is on the priestly garments. Now, in Hebrew, the word for priest is Kohen. There were 2 types of priests. There was the regular priest. He'd wear 4 linen garments every day, all white, and the high priest would wear 8 garments. There'd be the 4 linen garments and then 4 more elaborate garments that he would have as well. So you have the high priest. Moses gets the instructions, parsha 8, on how these garments are to be designed. Then skipping parsha number 9 for a moment, Moses is going to come down Mount Sinai, and he's going to give over to the nation the instructions on how to build it, and they're actually going to get to work. So parsha 10 and 11, the nation actually starts to build. In parsha 10, the structure and the vessels, so they make everything. The outer area and the altars and the menorah and the table and the ark and so on. And parsha 11, they make the priestly garments, and then we have the assembly of the tabernacle. So the whole thing is put up. Moses is going to be the one who's actually going to assemble the whole thing. And then almost a year after getting out of Egypt, which we saw back here in parsha number 3, that's where we're going to have the assembly and the putting up of the tabernacle. That's going to be 2 weeks shy of a year of getting out of Egypt. And when the book of Exodus closes in parsha number 11, The finale is that God's presence, so to speak, descends on this tabernacle in a cloud. And wow, the Jewish people created a home for the master of the universe to dwell amidst his universe with the Jews in the desert. And that's the close of the book of Exodus. What happens in Parsha number 9, we're going to get to in the next video. But that's the basic understanding and layout of the tabernacle. And we're going to see the tabernacle is going to take quite a position of prominence to the entire Torah. We're going to get to that very shortly. Okay, so let's do a little review of what we just covered regarding the tabernacle. Here goes. The last 5 parshas, the focus is on the tabernacle. Parshas 7 and 8 go together. That's Moses getting the instructions on how to build it. In 10 and 11, the nation actually starts to build it and is going to complete it. And Parsha number 9 is going to stand out on its own. Parsha 7 is the tabernacle and the vessels. There it is. And the vessels that are used within the basic layout. We said you come in, you see the incense altar, then you have the menorah, you have the table with the breads on it, and then you have the inner sanctum, the Holy of Holies with the Holy Ark. Parsha 8, Moses gets the instructions for the priestly garments. The regular Cohen priest wears 4 linen garments. The high priest is going to wear 8 garments in total, 4 of them more elaborate. 10 and 11, the nation actually builds instruction vessels, and 11, they make the priestly garments, and then Moses assembles the tabernacle almost 1 year after getting out of Egypt, which was in Parsha number 3, just 2 weeks shy of a complete year. Next video, we're going to focus on what happens in Parsha number 9.